March is Persian Heritage Month. Now, sources have told Windsor Essex Weekly that a planned Persian flag raising at City Hall was denied by City Council at an in-camera meeting by City Council in early March. Now, as the matter was in camera in private session, we do not have complete details as to what occurred, but the information that we have received was that the proposal was to raise a historic Persian sun and lion flag, which is different than both the current IRGC flag and also different from the Shah's flag. There's some mixed information as to whether the flag raising was originally approved administratively by council before council approved administratively before council rejected it. Now, I recall seeing promotional material on social media for the planned flag raising before it was canceled. About a year ago, City Council approved a new administrative flag raising policy. Some controversy at the time, at that point, over whether it would restrict the raising of pride flags, which the city ultimately confirmed it would not. Now, under the policy that was approved, I believe about 8 months ago, Windsor would continue to grant flag raising requests, but only to organizations that are directly related to the city through a funding or partnership agreement, and only for events that correspond to days of awareness, celebration, importance, commemoration, or promotion that are recognized by either the province or the federal governments. Now, we don't know exactly what was discussed in camera, but it seems to me the city may have been concerned with the Persian flag raising, given heightened tensions in the Middle East with the war in Iran, and also potentially the slippery slope concerns when flag raisings appear to wade into geopolitics. How should the city approach requests for flag raising when it may lead to geopolitical controversies? And I guess maybe also, should this debate have occurred in camera, or should it have been out in the public for us all to see? So, Stephen, as our former municipal councillor, what are your thoughts on this?
The in-camera component to me is a little interesting, and I quite frankly don't understand that component. When I was on council on Lakeshore, I mean, we discussed this issue a number of times. And my position on it then was, ultimately, if there's a rational connection here, go ahead and raise the flag. You see the issue here that where do you draw the line? In pride flags, we've seen that come up. Franco-Ontarian Day, we don't have a problem raising that flag. I mean, you've got picking and choosing that's ultimately going to occur. I think it's smart to have a policy in place. You have to have some criteria to weigh this against, to decide whether it's something that fits within the matrix. But I don't know that I necessarily like the link to the federal and provincial, because we're trying to keep this out of the political realm, but then very much putting it right back in the political realm.
So I guess my take on this is, ultimately, I think this is why we just can't have nice things. I think that the unfortunate reality is this always turns into a slippery slope. And so I suspect that there probably wasn't much objection to the historic Persian flag. But if you raise that, then how do you turn down a request to raise the Palestinian flag? And if you do that, how do you turn down a request to raise the Israeli flag? And so it turns into basically a geopolitical battle that the city, for whatever reason, is seen as taking a side on by raising the flag.
And I don't think there's a simple answer on where you draw the line. I mean, do you say, if it's a country, if it's a nationality, if it's a sort of representation of sovereignty, we say no?
Non-controversial minority groups can have their flag raising, but controversial minority groups can't. I think that's the problem with this. Jada, your thoughts on this?
You guys have me even more conflicted on what my opinion is. Okay, so first of all, I want to start by saying our municipalities are creatures of the province. So if they're going to be going off of whatever level of government declares what days as legitimate, I think it should be what the province says. I think that would be fair. Also, any group can still have a declaration. It's not necessarily they have to go and raise a flag. You can go on city council property. I'm not exactly sure what the process is to be given approval to do so, but you can have a declaration, and they will be having a declaration this coming Friday for Persian Heritage Month. So they're still going on with, recognizing Persian Heritage Month in Windsor. But Daniel, you touched on it for a moment. My first thought when I saw this was, oh gosh, if they allow this, the Palestinian community would be devastated. I mean, yeah, exactly. It's not fair. You can't give one the opportunity and another not the opportunity.